have I found two great rosés for the summer, and I found them at my local grocery store. Can't wait to tell you all about them. Stay tuned. Welcome to this week's episode. It's summer and it is definitely rosé time. And if you've seen my channel over the years, I'm always focusing on rosés because, we're such huge fans of them on the channel, and I want you to explore the world of rosés because they're such great values, food friendly, and great for the summer heat, light, refreshing, just delicious wines. But I noticed a lot of mine, I do go to say Total Wine or some fine wine retailers, and I haven't really focused on wines that are much easier to find. So that was my mission for this week's episode. I went to my local grocery store and I thought, let's see what they have that sort of catches my eye, and so I can share them with all of you. Well, I found two. And it's no surprise to me that the first one is from one of my favorite wineries in Washington State that is, and it's Chateau St. And their 2018 rosé is just delicious. Maybe, between the $10 and $15 range, depends, what kind of sales they're having at your local grocery store. But I love that winery, and their wines are so dependable, just delicious. Gosh, I couldn't wait to grab it. So we'll look at that one first. And then I'll talk about one I found in France. And guess what? It also happens to be available at Trader Joe's, but just under a different label. So stay tuned and I'll explain. So our Chateau St. the 2018 Rosé, just delicious, screw top. So keep it in the refrigerator, pull it, go out on the deck, go in the backyard, obviously enjoy it. The 2018 happens to be mostly Syrah, and then also has some Merlot in it. And it gives this really beautiful pink hue. It's not too light colored pink. It's more on I'd say the darker pink, which makes sense. The Syrah grape and the Merlot grape, as you guys know, very dark skinned grape. So it made a rosé that's going to be a little on the darker side. And again, you just sort of open it up and you get this beautiful notes of raspberry and fresh strawberries and a little bit of melon, and then you taste it and you're like, oh gosh, it's just delicious. Very fresh strawberries seem to stand out to me, and a little bit of like some kind of melon. I'm not sure if it was honeydew or cantaloupe, but that was in there, and just made it just a delightful, and a little zestiness in there too. And the acidity was nice and paired very well with some food. And I'll give you some ideas about what you can pair rosés with, which is pretty much anything. But this one was very nice, and again, approachable. At my local grocery store, the Chateau St. Rosé. This one happened to be 2018. Please go out and taste it and let me know what you think. Well, let's take a look at the second wine, and this one happens to be from France. So the second wine I found at my local grocery store happened to be from France. Not a big surprise because we do love our French rosés. And of course, this one didn't surprise me because it's from the south of France. And from one of the great producers of wine, period, in the whole Rhone Valley, so southern part of France. So the label is La Vielle Ferme, and it's from the 2019 vintage. And this one was even more affordable than our Chateau St. So this was just around the $10 range. And it's from the Perrin family, and they make some incredible world-famous wine, including the Chateau Beaucastel. And it is just, all their wines are really known for being world-class and reliable and great value, excellent quality. So you're not going to be disappointed, I think, with this one. So if you haven't had a French rosé, this is a great one to try. And I couldn't believe it was at my grocery store. And it has a beautiful hue, nice light pink. It has, of course, some Grenache, and it has some Syrah and some Cinsault in it. And very typical of that area in southern France. Those are the grapes I would expect to be in a French rosé. So no surprise there. And again, nice hue, nice acidity. It's going to remind you of strawberries and fresh raspberries and some nice melon and a little lime zest maybe thrown in there. It has a nice acidity, and you know both wines are great with food. So if you're going to do grilled seafood of any kind, grilled chicken would work. You could even do, I think, some Asian. I would kind of like to try it with some Thai food. I mean, it just has that sort of versatility, and that's what's nice about rosés in general, you guys. If you're having anyone over and you're not sure, should I serve a red or a white? It's summer, it's kind of hot. Go with the nice chilled rosé. I think it helps. The rosé helps with the people who like the red wine. It helps for people who like the white wine. It's not too sweet, it's not too dry, just an all-round great wine. Well, guess what? I've seen their label, and it looked so close. I never really paid too much attention to it at Trader Joe's, but Trader Joe's has one, and it has the label has a goat on it, and I believe it's Julien is the name of the wine. I'll put it in the description box, and it is only around $6 to $7. And it's the exclusive that the winery has with Trader Joe's. You know how they like to do that sometimes. So I can't wait to try that one. All the reviews say it's delicious and it's from the same house. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be great. But now I can't wait to go out and get some of the ones from Trader Joe's. So again, rosés are just sort of that just all around delicious for the summer. They go with appetizers. They go by themselves. They go with salads. They go with some grilled. I wouldn't do anything too hearty. You know, not like grilled steak or maybe grilled lamb. But you could do probably grilled chicken and maybe some grilled pork. But still to maybe the seafood and the chicken. I think you'd be a little bit more pleased with it. But obviously, well crafted wines. So our little tip I wanted to give you today about a certain method, because some of you may be wondering, like, well, what, the rosés, how do they make them look that way? Were they from red grapes or white grapes? Great question. So with the method, definitely the French method for La Vielle Ferme is going to be what's called sangner, which means, to bleed. So it sounds ominous. It's not. But it's a way of taking these red grapes. So remember, the rosés get that pink color because the grapes are dark skinned, right? So when the juice and it meets the skin, that it's going to saturate and it's going to extract some of the color from the grapes. And then that's what gives the rosé its look. So the winemaker is always controlling how much time the juice sits with the grapes, and then when to stop that and process it. So the sangner method is when they really looks like they're making red wine. If you looked in the vat, you'd like, wow, gosh, that's really red wine. But they just pull some of that off to the side, and they do its fermentation, and then the rest could go ahead and be made into red wine. So sangner, to bleed. But then the very regular method that most wineries use to make rosés is just where they'll take the dark-skinned grapes and they start out making the wine, and they let the grapes skins sit with the juice for a little while, maybe sometimes 2 hours, maybe 20 hours, but not for very long, right? Because they just want to get that nice, beautiful pinkness from the juice mixing with the skins, and then whoosh, they'll divide them, and then they'll make the wine from there. So 2 methods producing beautiful wines. Some people think the sangner method, makes them a little darker and has a little higher profile or a little more pronounced fruitiness to it than the maceration type or the more traditional method. I can't say I notice a huge difference. I sometimes like to have my rosés a little on the darker side, and sometimes I know if they're very, very, very pale pink, they're probably going to be on the drier side. But I always look at the alcohol percentage to help give me a little bit of a clue. So you could always use that too. So we like very dry. I don't mind tasting the fruit, but I want to still be very dry and have some nice acidity because, as you know, we always like to have our wine with food. So there you have it. We have 2 great rosés. One domestic from Chateau St in Washington, and then we have our other one from southern France, La Vielle Ferme, and wow. And you can get their other label at Trader Joe's. And I'll put all that in the description box, so you don't have to remember a darn thing. It'll be in the description box below, so you can go check it out and let me know what you think. So there you have it. 2 just great wines that epitomize summer for outdoor enjoying having your friends over, if they could come over, and really just for enjoying all the parts about summer. Some great food, great wines at my local grocery store. Hopefully they're at yours. Well, there you have it, and I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Look for those wines. Let me know what you think. I hope you like them, and especially the Trader Joe's one. And I think we'll talk about it more at our next episode. So until next time, everyone, cheers.